Kanye West has been many things to many people. Genius producer, visionary artist, polarizing public figure. But over the past few years, he's churned out a non-stop series of bizarre statements and explosive controversies that pushed even his biggest fans to the edge. If you've been watching this implosion, you might wonder, what went wrong with one of hip-hop's greatest icons? Kanye didn't just appear out of thin air. He built his name producing for legends like Jay-Z, injecting a soulful, sample-driven style that left everyone wanting more. His debut album, The College Dropout, shook up the game, introducing a fresh, introspective take on hip-hop. People connected to his authenticity. He was the outspoken underdog who wasn't afraid to challenge the norm. But with that boldness came a persistent streak of controversy. Early on, he stood up on live TV and blurted out, "George Bush doesn't care about black people." Instead of derailing his career, that moment boosted his status as a no-holds-barred disruptor. Fans admired his courage. Critics braced for a career built on shock value. Many point to the passing of Kanye's mother, Kanye West, as a major turning point. She was more than just a parent. She was an anchor, and her death left him unmoored. Grief seeped into his music, inspiring projects like 808 and Heartbreak, which showcased a more vulnerable side. Yet at the same time, his public persona grew more unpredictable. He started making wild public appearances, interrupting award shows. Taylor Swift still can't forget that infamous VMA moment. Back then, fans called it classic Kanye, chalking it up to passion and creative genius. No matter how many outbursts he had, people still saw him as the underdog with a message. As Kanye's star soared, he moved beyond music, launching the Yeezy brand and collaborating with major fashion labels. Suddenly, he was the man who could do no wrong, at least financially. His shoes sold out in seconds, making him a near billionaire practically overnight. But this astronomical success only magnified his impulsive tendencies. When he ran out of boundaries to push musically, he found new ways to stir the pot, jumping into political races, praising figures nobody expected him to, and tweeting conspiracy-laced rants at all hours. Instead of stepping back, he pushed harder, as if testing how far fans' loyalty would stretch. Everything took a dark turn when Kanye began dropping hateful remarks about Jewish people. His comments ignited immediate backlash. Brands were quick to distance themselves. Adidas, Balenciaga, and others cut ties after realizing the scale of his harmful rhetoric. Hardcore fans who once defended his boldness had to face a harsher truth. Maybe this wasn't just artistic expression. Social media exploded with condemnation. Some tried to rationalize it, claiming he was misunderstood or in the midst of mental health struggles. But even that sympathy had limits. He'd crossed a line you can't just walk back from. And for many, that was the final straw. To make matters worse, Kanye's personal life collided with his public persona in ways that highlighted glaring contradictions. For instance, he criticized adult content, but openly admitted to being hooked on it himself since a young age. He decried the sexualization of women, even saying he wanted to protect his daughters, yet paraded around with partners who wore next to nothing in public. And then there was his marriage to Kim Kardashian. For a time, they were the ultimate power couple, dominating headlines. But that high-profile relationship devolved into public drama, custody fights, and Kanye accusing Kim of messing with his family legacy. Meanwhile, he turned around and launched new controversies, like questionable merch drops or praising figures with terrifying track records. It's hard to stay a billionaire when nobody wants to work with you. After Kanye's rants reached a boiling point, corporations started backing away. That's when the world realized just how fragile his empire really was. Fans who spent hundreds, sometimes thousands, on Yeezy sneakers couldn't decide whether to dump them or keep wearing them out of loyalty. But even the ones who tried to stand by him found it increasingly difficult to justify some of the vile things he said. Some burned their merch in protest, others quietly boxed up their gear for good. Just when people thought the chaos might die down, rumors surfaced of Kanye using AI in new music projects. For a man who built his legacy on raw creativity, turning to artificial intelligence felt like a betrayal to fans who cherished his iconic sampling style. He fueled speculation with cryptic social media posts and abrupt live streams, each one more confusing than the last. Was this a last-ditch effort to stay relevant, or a genuine creative move? Whatever the motive, the headlines remained the same. Kanye West was spiraling, and no one knew if he'd ever find a stable path again. So here we stand, watching a man once revered for his artistic brilliance dig himself deeper into controversy. Can you separate the music from the artist? For some, his early albums still represent a golden era of hip-hop, masterpieces that influenced a generation. For others, his hateful remarks and erratic behavior have permanently stained his legacy. Kanye thrives on attention, but at what cost? His biggest supporters have grown exhausted trying to defend him, and critics feel validated in condemning his every move. If he's to make a genuine comeback, it might require more than just a hit record. It'll take sincere apologies, tangible change, and a willingness to step away from the spotlight long enough to heal what's broken. In the end, Kanye's story is a cautionary tale about how unchecked fame and fortune can magnify every flaw. At one point, he was the scrappy underdog with a dream to change music forever, and in many ways, he did just that. But somewhere along the line, the hunger for attention outweighed the art. Will we ever see the old Kanye again? Or has he drifted too far into the realm of controversy, leaving behind a legacy so tangled in chaos that no redemption arc can fix it? That's for time and the public to decide. Thank you for watching. If you found this breakdown enlightening, or if you've got your own take on Kanye's spiral, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.